Good morning. Hello, Deanna. Diana. That's a blowhole right in front of me. Hello, Scott. As you guys drop in, let me know where you're from. And if you're watching the replay, just type in replay. Hello, Mark. Hello, Lynn. A little blowhole action there. Hello, Maria from Tennessee. Good morning, Lanai. Oh, there's the blowhole. Almost missed it. Good morning, Aideen. Good afternoon in London. Good evening in London. Hello, Kathleen. A little blowhole here, yeah. Woo! Hello, Matt. Hello, Mark. Hello, Evan. Well, hey, thanks for joining me. Daily Dose of Salt. I think this is day, I don't know, maybe 8. Here, I'll turn around so you can see the ocean. Maybe 8, 9. Daily Dose of Salt 2. So for those of you that are new, a couple of years ago, I did Daily Dose of Salt for about 6 months every day. And now I'm doing 6 weeks. Then I got to take a 3-week trip, so I'm not going to be on Fisherman's Trail on Lanai doing Daily Dose of Salt. So every morning, I come to you with 5 or 10 minutes of thoughts to make your day and your business and your performance perhaps a little more peaceful and powerful. And so what I noticed here on day 8, even after a long weekend, and I did not skip yesterday, I did not skip Sunday, it wasn't even tempting. So what I've noticed after day 8 is I'm already in that place where I don't have to do this out of discipline, and I don't have to do this out of commitment because I've done it 8 days in a row or 9 days, however many it's been. My body's already sort of jonesing for it, right? When I get up in the morning, it's the first thing I think about. Okay, got to get my emails, got to get my comms out of the way, got to be ready to go by 5:45. Got to get my headset, I got to get my tripod, I got to get my phone, I got to get my sunglasses, my water bottle, my hat. I got this checklist of things I got to get. And I got to get out here before, 6 o'clock, or I won't get back by 8. It's about a 3.5, 4 minute hike. And I go down to the gym at the Four Seasons and work out for 20 or 30 minutes and then hike home. Good morning, Donna. Thanks for joining me again. So today's message is about getting in the game. And so I was reading an article by Price Pritchard, one of my favorite authors. And this morning, great little article about a book that he read and about getting in the game. And I thought, well, that's a perfect message for my audience. And so the way it goes is you can't win unless you get in the game. And the analogy was poker or some gambling card game. And that got my attention because I am a no limit Texas Hold'em aficionado. Wouldn't say, people ask you, are you any good? So that depends who you're playing against, right? Playing against you, maybe I'm all right. Playing against some people I know, I'm horrible. But so I love poker. And, the thing about poker, it's a great analogy because you can't win unless you're in the game. And in fact, you can't win unless you're engaged in the game. So I know a lot of players at the poker table, they just sit there all night. They don't play hands unless it's like a perfect deadlock cinch hand. Then they'll play tentatively, right? But they don't win. They maybe don't lose, but they don't win. So you got to get in the game if you want to win, which means you got to play, which means You got to take risks. You got to expose your vulnerabilities. You got to have some courage. You got to have some vision. You got to move your chips into the center of the table. You got to go all in at times, even if maybe you don't have the best hand. And so if you think about anything that you and I want to do, you got to ask ourselves, what's the game where I can win, and am I fully engaged in the gym, in the game? So in the analogy of, well, if fitness is your game, if that's where you want to win is fitness, where do you need to be? What's the game you need to be in? Lots of different forms of it, but you need to be in the gym, right? Or some variation of the gym. That's where you're going to meet the coaches. That's where you're going to find inspiration. That's where you're going to do the work. That's where you're going to get the gains. That's also where you're going to get injured, right? In the gym. And at the poker table, that's also where you're going to lose. So part of the game, part of the distinction of the game is you got to be willing to lose. You got to be willing to have setbacks. You got to be willing to be told no by the universe, which might be an injury in fitness. If you're an author, it would be rejection by publishers or the public, right? If you're in business development, it's going to be prospects telling you no. You got to get in the game. If you're not in the game, no chance to win. And so many people, they have goals, they know the game intellectually, but they're not fully engaged in the game. And why is that? Is it because they're afraid? Well, generally, yes. They have a vision, a dominant story that sounds like this. Well, what if I lose? What if I get rejected? What if no one likes me? Right? That's the dominant story. Whoa. I'm about 15 feet above the water, so on a little cliff. I'm good. But it's a nice setting, huh? So you got to be willing to lose. You got to be willing to have setbacks. And how do you win at poker? Right? Well, you win more than you lose. But you can't win unless you're willing to lose, unless you're willing to have somebody have a better hand in that very moment. You're not going to win at the gym unless you're willing to risk an injury. And I'm not suggesting you be reckless in the gym, but can happen, right? And certainly in business development, in publishing, if you're an author, if you're a songwriter, if you're submitting proposals of any kind to prospects in the public, more people may tell you no than tell you yes. So you got to be willing to be in that game. And here's another reason why you get to be willing to be in the game. Doesn't matter how much you read. Doesn't matter how many coaches you have. Doesn't matter how many videos, YouTube videos you watch. Doesn't matter really how much you affirm it. Until you get in the game, your axe never gets sharp. You don't refine and hone those distinctions that give you mastery. Mastery is only achieved in the game where you're winning, in the game where you're losing, in the game where you're learning in your body. You're learning those lessons you'll never, ever forget, right? So two big values of getting in the game. That's the only place you're going to win, and you got to risk losing. And it's the only way you're going to gain mastery. And what's the advantage of gaining mastery? Well, until you have mastery, folks, there is a certain degree of grind, if you will, a certain degree of struggle, a certain degree of frustration, maybe because you look around and other people are performing at a higher level than you, or you're not performing at a level that you set for yourself to achieve your goals. So mastery gives you peace. Mastery gets you up on top of the wave. So here we are in Hawaii, right? You got surfers. How many surfers have mastery? Well, some do. We watch them here in Hulapoi Bay and watch them surf, and it's a very tough break. It's a left-hand break, and if you're not very good, it's going to throw you right onto the rocks. But the guys and gals that have mastery, they're not afraid. They are in control of the wave. They have the power. They're at peace every time they catch a wave because they have the distinctions in their body. Doesn't mean they can't get pitched off. but they're not afraid of that. They have mastery. Where do you get mastery? Being in the game, like constantly in the game. It's the only way you get it. You and I don't learn mastery from books, from coaches, from seminars, from YouTube videos. We only learn it from being in the game. So if you're in business development, if you need to be asking people to look at your products or anything else that you sell, the way you get mastery, the way you get on top of the power curve, the way you get peace and glide to continual progress is gain mastery in the game. Gain mastery from those 10 no's for every yes that you get. That's the master's game. Get in it. If you watch the replay, drop in replay. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for your comment. If this has any value, tag somebody or maybe even share it on your wall. And here's what I'm curious about if you stayed to the end. Tell me in the comments, what game are you mastering? What's the game you're in? Let's see how you describe the game. Just give me one game of mastery. Thanks for